1,360. That's not a budget number. That's not a statistic. That's 1,360 criminal illegal aliens sitting in Minnesota jails right now, with ICE detainers, waiting to be turned over to federal agents. And Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey are releasing them back onto the streets instead. This is Daniel Crawford. Let's look at the receipts. On Monday, January 19, 2026, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem made a public statement that sent shockwaves through Minnesota. According to official DHS documents, federal agents have arrested over 10,000 criminal illegal aliens in Minneapolis. 10,000. 3,000 of those arrests happened in just the last 6 weeks. But here's what DHS is really frustrated about. According to Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, there are currently more than 1,360 active ICE detainers in Minnesota custody. What's an ICE detainer? When local police arrest someone for a crime, ICE can place what's called a detainer on that person if they're in the country illegally. It's a formal request asking the jail to hold the person for 48 hours so ICE can pick them up. Simple cooperation between local and federal law enforcement. But Minneapolis is a sanctuary jurisdiction. That means local law enforcement does not honor federal immigration detainers. They arrest someone. IC places a detainer. And then the local jail releases them anyway. No notification to ICE, no cooperation. Just release them back onto the streets. DHS says nearly 470 criminal illegal aliens have been released this way since President Trump took office 1 year ago. And the crimes? We're talking about murderers, rapists, child sex offenders, gang members, and violent felons. Let's look at the specific cases DHS has documented. Victoria Eileen Harwell. Start with Victoria Harwell. August 4, 2024. A mother from Minnesota, German Langari Inga, an illegal alien from Ecuador, was driving drunk. His blood alcohol content was twice the legal limit. He crashed head-on into Victoria Harwell's vehicle. She died. According to court documents, when police tested his blood 2.5 hours after the crash, his BAC was still 0.141%, nearly double the legal limit. ICE placed a detainer on him immediately. August 4, 2024. Hennepin County Jail released him anyway. August 6, 2024. No notification to ICE. He was arrested again on an outstanding warrant. May 10, 2025. ICE placed another detainer. Hennepin County released him again. May 13th. ICE finally tracked him down and arrested him on May 16, 2025. But Victoria Harwell is still dead. The sexual predators. Let me read you some names from the official DHS press releases. Lenny Odemel Ramirez Santos, criminal illegal alien from Honduras, charged with sex offense against a child and driving under the influence, released under sanctuary policies. Edwin Amable Ashka Ninasuta, criminal illegal alien from Ecuador, charges for lewd or lascivious acts with a minor, released under sanctuary policies. Mahad Abdulkadir Yusuf, criminal illegal alien from Somalia, convicted sex offender, released under sanctuary policies. ICE had to launch a targeted operation on December 31st to find him and arrest him again. Blong Xiong, criminal illegal alien from Laos, convicted of sodomy on a 12-year-old girl and sexual assault, released under sanctuary policies. These are not my words. These are direct from official DHS documents and ICE press releases. The gang members and violent offenders Yanko Amoa, criminal illegal alien from Laos, convictions for homicide and robbery, admitted Oriental Low gang member. Final order of removal issued in 2013, still in the United States, Tsathao. Criminal illegal alien from Laos, conviction for homicide, Jorge Cardoso Luna. Criminal illegal alien from Cuba, convictions for aggravated assault with a weapon, robbery with a gun, and possession of cocaine. Death Udon Fangsi, criminal illegal alien from Laos, convictions for possession of a weapon and aggravated assault with a gun. Asian Boys gang member, final order of removal from 2018, still here. Here's where it gets political. And I'm going to be very clear about something. This is not about immigration policy broadly. This is not about people who came here illegally but are living peacefully and working. This is specifically about convicted criminals, people who have been arrested by local police for crimes, people with convictions, people with active warrants. DHS is asking Minnesota to hand over people who are already in custody for crimes they committed in Minnesota. And Minnesota is saying no. Mayor Jacob Frey went on CBS's Face the Nation on Sunday. He said, "This is not about safety. What this is about is coming into our city by the thousands and terrorizing people simply because they're Latino or Somali." But DHS isn't asking Minneapolis to go find people. They're asking Minneapolis to stop releasing people who are already arrested, already in jail, already have criminal charges. Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin put it directly, "It is common sense. Criminal illegal aliens should not be released back onto our streets to terrorize more innocent Americans." Governor Tim Walz has been equally defiant. On Wednesday, he posted on social media accusing the Trump administration of taking credit for arrests that happened before Operation Metro Surge. He said, "The federal government's propaganda machine is taking credit for work that happened long before thousands of untrained agents showed up to put on a show for Trump." But that doesn't address the question. The question is, why are there 1,360 active ICE detainers that Minnesota is refusing to honor? Why did Hennepin County release Victoria Harwell's killer twice? This situation has now escalated to the Justice Department. According to multiple news reports, on Tuesday, January 21st, Governor Tim Walz, Mayor Jacob Frey, and 3 other Minnesota officials received subpoenas from the Department of Justice. The DOJ is investigating whether their actions constitute obstruction of federal immigration enforcement. A federal judge in Minneapolis has also issued an order barring DHS agents from arresting peaceful protesters not suspected of criminal activity. This came after allegations of constitutional rights violations during operations, and tensions have reached a breaking point. On January 7th, a federal officer shot and killed protester Renee Good. Federal officials say she used her car as a weapon against the agent. Democrats have called it murder. President Trump threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act if local officials don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE. The FBI has asked agents from field offices across the country to travel to Minneapolis on voluntary temporary assignments. And according to CBS News, approximately 1,500 active duty soldiers stationed in Alaska have been placed on standby for potential deployment to Minneapolis. Let me be very clear about what the documents show. DHS has provided specific names, specific crimes, specific dates. They've documented cases where ICE placed detainers and local jails released the individuals anyway. They've shown cases where the same person was released twice after new arrests, and they've connected at least one release directly to a death, Victoria Harwell. Now, there are legitimate questions about the broader ICE operations in Minneapolis, about how many of those 10,000 arrests were actually violent criminals versus people arrested for other reasons. Immigration advocacy groups have raised serious questions about whether those numbers are inflated. But the 1,360 detainers? Those are people already in custody. The sanctuary policy question isn't about going door to door. It's about what happens when local police arrest someone, ICE places a detainer, and then the jail releases them. This is the core disagreement. Federal law says ICE has the authority to enforce immigration law and remove people who are here illegally, especially if they've committed crimes. Sanctuary jurisdictions say they're protecting their immigrant communities from what they see as overreach and discrimination. But when it comes to convicted criminals, that's where the public debate is focused. 1,360 active detainers. That's the number DHS put on the record. Victoria Harwell died because her killer was released twice. Those are the facts according to official documents. Governor Walz and Mayor Frey believe they're protecting their communities. DHS believes they're protecting criminals. The Justice Department is now investigating. And the question Americans are asking is simple. If someone is arrested for vehicular homicide or sexual assault on a child or murder and they're in the country illegally, should local jails release them back onto the streets? Or should they honor the federal detainer? This is Daniel Crawford. We'll keep following the documents, so